presents to you Honest Talk.
Hello folks, today Mr. Vivaan Turakhia is going to join us. Vivaan is 15-year-old and he is a student of Dhirubhai Ambani International School, Mumbai. He is a skilled content editor and writer with a flair for the English language and theatrics. Recently, he published an article on It's Okay Not to Be Okay, the speaking app deprivation, wherein he encourages and urges on a speaking app when you feel down. So let's begin our talk with Vivaan Turakhia.
So first of all, Vivaan, I welcome you to in this session and thank you so much for joining and agreeing to share your thoughts. We are extremely very happy to have you for today's talk.
Thank you.
Pleasure. So Vivaan, we have seen all of us that you have worked so much on mental health. So I request you to tell our viewers about that and how it has started. What is the inspiration behind it? What made you inspired to do all this?
Okay, so for the viewers who don't know, I'm 15 years old and I just wrote an article on mental health and the stigma behind it and how one can go about it if they're experiencing something like that. And this is what I think majority I'm going to be talking about today. So I think mental health is a plaguing issue in today's world and it's something that people are neglecting to talk about. It's a very big issue, but very few people are about it. So, which is why I wanted to raise my voice for it. I think there were two major inspirations behind why I wrote the article. And I think the first one was there's a show and a book by Jay Asher called 13 Reasons Why. Talks, for the viewers who don't know about the show or the book, it's about a girl who commits suicide and the book talks about the reasons why she committed suicide, and there are 13 reasons behind why she committed suicide. And the main message I got from that is that smallest things that you do to someone else's life can affect them in the biggest way, and this is what I wanted to talk about. The second major inspiration that was mainly a launch pad for me to write about it was what happened in the Bollywood industry recently, which was the suicide of Sushant Singh Rajput. And I was personally very affected by it because I'm a really big fan of Bollywood and he was an emerging star, and without him I don't know how the industry is going to move ahead. And I felt that if a person so big with someone who has such a large fan following could feel lonely, then imagine how the average human would be feeling, and which is why that was my inspiration for writing it.
Absolutely, you have made very good point that we need to talk about mental health, and I think that this is the time because if previously we looked at there's many things that people can go around, and if we talk about in this COVID scenario, all are just into their houses, so there is no any physical meeting, so we have to take care of it. So Vivaan, my next question to you: what changes would you like to bring in this society by your initiative?
So I feel that my initiative is the building block and people can build on it. It's just something that starts it, because I believe that, and it's a very famous quote, but I still believe in it, that a pen is mightier than a sword. But in this case, it was my laptop, but still. And so I feel that the changes I want to bring out are mainly for people, especially children my age or teenagers my age, to start talking about their feelings and not holding it within them, because that's what leads to people falling into depression or committing suicide, etc. And communication and opening up to certain trusted individuals will help them express themselves better. And through my initiative, I just wanted people to know that it's okay to be weak at sometimes, and it's okay to not be okay, but you should talk to someone about it. And also for the other side, the listeners, that we should stop being judgmental about people and stop labeling them with, oh, you're sad, so now I'll exclude you from something. We should not be judgmental about people who are facing something that is obviously something that we can't understand as well as they do. So we must stay within our limits when we're talking or addressing to such people.
It is really a great to listen that you are doing these things, and also from our side, you all the best wishes to you and more success comes to your way. Vivaan, so my next question to you means what are your future plans? How you decided to work on it more towards it?
So I think the first thing is I think I have to understand myself first and upgrade myself before I can go out and talk to people about it, because I'm still starting. I mean, as a human, I'm still starting my journey through life, and I need to understand myself before I can go and talk to other people about it, before I even think they can start taking me seriously. So I read more, watch more seminars by people who are qualified in this field, and so follow their footsteps into what they are doing. And after I do that, I think I'll start writing more, because I feel that's my forte, and people will read that and then continue to maybe make a change in the world and start talking about stuff, which I think my main goal is, at least right now. And
it is really
once
yeah, please continue.
I think, not for me personally, but I think that I would encourage people to join or maybe create their own support groups where they can talk to strangers about things and get to know about the stranger's perspective as well, which would allow them to understand their society around them, which would also help them to empathize with people, which would really help in the long run in their lives and in other people's lives.
It's great to listen, Vivaan. So my one question which I was eagerly thinking to ask you before this session, my question to you is that how you yourself made prepare and come to know all about that we need to work on these fields, because there are some voids we need to work on that. What means how you got know all this? What are your source of study?
So my article was mainly like my feelings towards it, and maybe the way I could, or maybe people my age or the people with my social capacity could address this issue. So I just spilled my feelings on the on Microsoft Word, and I just published it. But I think my sources were mainly social media in general, which is not as credible as it should be, but I get most of my news from there, and then I go ahead and recheck on the statistics of whether if it's true or not on a more credible website, which could be like BBC or all the global domains, which I would rather use than the non-credible ones.
It's great. So Vivaan, as the topic of today's session is why is maintaining a good mental health is important. So it is a question in itself. I would like to know your thoughts over it.
Okay, so I think adding to my previous answer, I think I'll start off with a quote, which is, you don't know what goes on in anyone's life but your own. And I think that is something everyone needs to think about before they lift their voice against someone else who's going through something and they don't know about it. And I believe that mental health is more important than physical health, because mental health is the building block or the structure behind what physical health falls under. For example, I'll lead with an example, which is the example of a marathon. Let's take a longer one. Let's say the 42-kilometer marathon. Maybe if you exercise or if you start practicing a lot for the marathon, you can run 10 kilometers just on your muscle mass. But the remaining 32 kilometers is only if you have that positive attitude that says, oh, I can do this, so I'm ready to complete it. And that's the only thing that will take you to the finish line. So that's how I want to sum it up, is that mental health is the guiding force that leads everything in your life.
It's really great to listen that you made very good point, and I think we all need to means follow it, because I have seen that many elder people are also not that much careful about it. That we have to look our mental health as much as we are giving importance to our physical health. So Vivaan, my next question to you is that what are the ways how one can look after means on their mental health?
Okay, again, I'm not a very high level psychologist or a very high level person to give advice to the viewers, but something that I have learned in my lifetime or by my resources is that communication is obviously the biggest way to get about feeling low, or a way to increase your mental health capacity. And the main way is inner reflection, or to be in touch with your emotions. Because sometimes there's not every time where there's not a single person in the world who feels happy at all times. Some people will feel sad, some people will feel angry, but you should make the best of those emotions, and you should not try to tackle them voluntarily. They go away in a way and you'll feel happy once again, but you should be aware of those emotions, that they are within you, and you should not try and fight them away just because you want to feel happy. It's not something that's compulsory. And then there are more basic ways to go about it. One is to eat well, to drink well, to sleep well, and find a group of friends that, or even family members, that would help you to get through stuff without judging you, as I said. And I think also what my dad keeps on telling me is that your personality is only built by the 5 people you talk to the most with, or the 5 people you surround yourself the most with, and it doesn't depend on anyone else. So you must choose those 5 people very carefully before you open up to them, and make sure that they don't stab you in the back, or they are listening to you when you need them. Those are the ways to look after your mental health.
All right, Vivaan, it's really great to listen that you understand these all points in such a small age. We are really grateful to look at for these children are that much sensitive. Vivaan, so as we all know that being a mentally fit, it always means increase your productivity in your work. So what would you like to comment on what are the major benefits of being mentally fit?
So I have never been a very big fan of yoga because I'm not very flexible. So being mentally fit is, as I said, more important than being physically fit. And I feel that being mentally fit will help you gain your inner peace more than other physical activities would help you do that. And it's been scientifically proven that if you're mentally fit, then your ability of thinking will be more clear, your flow of thoughts will be more direct, and you also gain that rise in self-esteem. Like you feel that you can do better and you want to rise to your own potential, which would not be possible if you had a weaker mentality. So it also, obviously, the basic ones are that you get better sleep and you have a memory, but those are secondary things rather than the more important ones of having a greater self-awareness, etc. I think those are the main benefits.
All right, Vivaan. So one question I would like to put it here. How do you keep yourself mentally fit?
So, tough question. I think that I think I'm talking more than, I think the people say to practice what you preach, but I'm preaching more than I'm practicing, if I put it more in that way. But I feel that my mental health is sustained only because of the people I let into my life, and the people whom I trust more than I even trust myself at times. But you should always, I feel that I have a very good understanding with myself, which helps me to gel with myself without making any contradictory decisions, or even make any rash decisions in tough times, which helps me to stay mentally mentally fit. Sorry, you hung. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, now it's fine.
Okay. All right, Vivaan. So moving to my last question of this session, what message would you like to give to the society and all those viewers who is watching this session? How important, of course, our topic is only that, how important is to keep mentally fit yourself?
So I think I'm going to apologize in advance to the viewers because I might be a little harsh in my statement. But I think the main thing that people should do to help other people is to stop the social media trolling that people continuously keep on doing. And it's something that really annoys me because I'm watching it as an outsider, but I feel that I can empathize with the people who are being trolled with. For example, right now, I'll go back to my example of Bollywood where people don't know the real truth about why Sushant Singh Rajput committed suicide, but there are so many theories. There are so many people blaming so many other people for things that they are not even sure that they did. And it's been over a month and people are still targeting those few individuals and they don't know what's going on in those individuals' lives right now. It could be one step closer for them to commit suicide, and then one more thing which is society is doing, which is not really good. And on top of that, I think banishing stigmas, biases, and stereotypes is a main way to go about it, by thinking twice before you make a racial slur or before you comment on someone's appearance, because everything you say matters at the end of the day, even if you don't know it. So please think twice before you say something to someone that you might regret in the future. Thank you.
It was a wonderful message, and also it was a wonderful interaction with you. Much for joining. It was a great interaction with you.
Thank you.